As part of ongoing budget support to the Solomon Islands, Prime Minister James Marape has renewed Papua New Guinea's commitment to Solomon Islands with the announcement of another 100 million kina over the next 5 years starting in 2026. He made this announcement following his bilateral meeting with the Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele in Port Moresby yesterday.
Papua New Guinea has been offering support to Solomon Islands when needed, including the Pacific Games in 2023, the engagement of our PNGC officers during Solomon Island elections, and the support in the education space where Solomon Island students are given privileges to study in PNG institutions, among others. The PNG government has also been providing budget support to Solomon Islands over the years, and the announcement yesterday is the renewal of this ongoing support with 20 million kina to be paid each year over 5 years, starting in 2026.
I want to also indicate Papua New Guinea thus, despite our own needs in our country, we do offer support to Solomon Islands where we can. And so this evening we reaffirmed our commitment every year, 20 million kina worth of support to Solomon Islands for the next 5 years. Starting 2026 to 2030.
He said this money is given to them freely with no strings attached, and is also a way to recognize Solomon Islands' trade relationship with PNG.
This has been running for some time. The next 6 years we'll run this facility. I have the trade statistics here with me. Last year we sold, or this year, or last year, 2023, we sold over 119 million kina worth of products to Solomon Island market. So look, we make money from the economy too, so. And going forward into the future, when Papua New Guinea grows, this help we give to our brothers and sisters from Solomon Islands and others goes with no strings attached and no obligations. These are our brothers and sisters. We feel obliged to also reach out and help. So we've been having this program running. It's a budget support for them.
Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele thanked the PNG government and Prime Minister Marape for his support, noting the good gesture PNG has offered despite its own challenges.
We appreciate the renewal of the 20 million kina per year arrangement, and we look forward to the conclusion of that and its start in 2026. I know as a country, as a government, you have competing priorities, you have your own needs as well. But we have decided to reach out and help other small island countries within our region, including Solomon Islands. Prime Minister, thank you for your compassion and your kind thoughts in terms of supporting Solomon Islands as well as other small island countries in the region.
Prime Minister Marape also opened doors in the health sector for Solomon Island citizens to access specialist health services in PNG at very low cost instead of going overseas.
Cancer facility, kidney facilities, heart facilities is ticked off for our country, and not only us, but we're extending that facility services to our sisters and brothers in the Pacific, and of course Solomon Islands closest. Anytime you have those in need, other places they charge you over. Papua New Guineans go to Philippines or Singapore over 200,000 kina or 300,000 kina. Right now in our own country, under 5,000 kina have been addressed. So same cost applies to one Solwaras in all our Pacific Island countries.
The Solomon Islands Prime Minister arrived yesterday in the country for a 2-day visit, where he was welcomed by a guard of honor at the airport, followed by a courtesy call to the Governor-General, Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadae, and a bilateral with Prime Minister Marape to end the day. Ruth Rungula, TVWAN News.
PNG Customs will soon have a director dog facility following the groundbreaking ceremony today in Port Moresby. With support from Australia, this is a step forward in strengthening border security along PNG borders to help deter criminal syndicates.
Speaking at the ceremony in Port Moresby, Australian High Commission's Andrew Bailey said the initiative reflects the deep and long-standing partnership between Australia and Papua New Guinea, highlighting the work of detector dogs in protecting borders.
And those who operate within it, including our organisations. In Australia, the Australian Border Force Detector Dog program provides an invaluable, non-intrusive mass screening tool that can be deployed with agility across multiple operating environments.
The Australian Border Force Detector Dog Program, recognized internationally as a World Customs Organization Regional Dog Training Center, has been working closely with PNG Customs to establish professional capability. This includes the recruitment of PNG Customs Detector Dog handlers, training and supervision opportunities, participation in the Pacific Detector Dog Program Forum in Fiji, supporting the development of operational procedures, training and animal welfare standards, and assisting in the design of the new facility. Australia will also support PNG Customs by gifting ABF-bred detector dogs. Mr. Bailey said detector dogs play a critical role in combating transnational crimes.
Detector dogs are often complementary to other technology screening, and in some cases they are used when other technological solutions can't be employed.
The initiative is expected to strengthen PNG's border enforcement, disrupt criminal syndicates, and contribute to economic stability through enhanced revenue collection. Ruth Rungala, TV1 News.
The National Banking Corporation officially launched its Visa debit card last night, marking a major step in its mission to make banking easier, more accessible and more relevant for Papua New Guineans. NBC's Chief Executive Officer Paul Thornton said the Visa debit card reflects the bank's commitment to providing customers with secure, convenient and modern banking solutions. The Visa debit card is part of a wider strategy to expand access to modern banking across the country. NBC will also introduce new products in the months ahead to make banking faster, simpler and safer with the goal to remain as the bank that understands and works for the people of Papua New Guinea. NBC's Visa debit card is now available to customers nationwide. 16 members of the 1st Royal Pacific Island Regiment from Taurama and Goldie Barracks are added for Port Moresby on the final leg of the exercise Antaplong All 2025 walk after receiving the baton from the Long Range Reconnaissance Unit on Wednesday at Malalawa Station, Gulf Province. The walk is a reenactment of the 1975 Defence Force walk by PNG soldiers to deliver the independence message to the then Chief Minister, late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, and Minister for Defence, Foreign Relations and Trade, Albert Mauri Kiki, ahead of PNG's independence. The exercise Antaplong All 2025 walk started in Moem Barracks with the baton in July with 19 soldiers and is now on its final journey to Port Moresby. What makes this walk important is its historical significance. Leading into PNG's independence in 1975, the 2nd Royal Pacific Island Regiment 2RPIR, led by then Lieutenant Geoff Key, made a historic 1,200 kilometers walk from Moem Barracks to Port Moresby to deliver key messages to then Chief Minister Michael Somare and then Minister for Defence, Foreign Relations and Trade, Albert Mauri Kiki. Messages in the baton delivered by soldiers were greetings to PNG on its independence. The 1RPIR team now with the baton and are on their way to Port Moresby. They are expected to arrive in Port Moresby on September 1st, opening the PNG Defence Week program. The baton is expected to be handed over to the government officials at the opening day of PNG Defence Week. The exercise Antaplong All 2025 may be a lead-up event to PNG Defence Force Week and into PNG's 50th anniversary, but it also highlights the role PNGDF plays in the nation's development and its dedication to protecting the country's sovereignty. This is TV1 News. Minds Meet hosted and Milum Aviation takes flight. We'll have those stories and more after the break. Welcome back. The Papua New Guinea Christian Professionals Network hosted its 6th Mindsmith event in Mount Hagen, bringing together over 200 participants from across the country. Themed the intergenerational discussion, learning from the past 50 years to forge the next 50 in PNG, the event marked a significant moment in the lead-up to PNG's 50th independence anniversary. PNG CPN CEO Samuel Ray emphasized the organization's commitment to grassroots engagement. In her opening remarks, Minister Councillor at the Australian High Commission, Penny Morton, underscored the value of community-led initiatives like Mindsmith, where ideas are tested, voices are heard, and solutions to be shaped by those who live the realities they seek to change. Participants engaged in discussions on key national issues, including economic empowerment, education, governance, and foreign policy. In Tabubil, a dream more than 30 years in the making has taken to the skies. Landowners of the 12 mine villages have launched Milum Aviation, an airline they now own outright. Our reporter has the story of how unity, persistence, and partnership brought this vision to life.
It is a proud moment for the people of the Star Mountains. The launch of Milum Aviation marks the first time mine village landowners have secured full ownership of an airline. 3 Dash 8 aircraft purchased for over 30 million kina were unveiled in Tabubil, with celebrations drawing landowners, government leaders and business partners.
Supporting this now, local business will be, especially MRSM and Rugby Trust, more investment. Before only go, only must sing, maybe I want to have a ground to must go long.
The milestone is the result of years of planning under the Oktedi Landowners Royalty Trust and the Milum Group of companies. Leaders say the investment will ease long-standing travel challenges, create jobs and bring direct economic benefits to over 7,000 beneficiaries.
Go through the session, you will finish it and blow me plan. Balance blow me plan, me blow buy, me blow lookout, it will make money for us.
For Chairman Henry Asakim, the message is clear. The landowner's future lies in business, not politics. Alongside the Dash 8 aircraft, plans are already underway for 2 additional 300 series planes, one to service international routes to Cairns and Brisbane, and another for domestic flights across Papua New Guinea.
You mean a partnership one time, 3 Dash 8 aircraft? No! We 100% on the Dash 8 aircraft.
As the aircraft named Ilimbit Dream, Asakim Pride and De Souza Spirit take to the skies, landowners say this milestone is more than transport. It is a symbol of independence, unity and generational opportunity. Milum Aviation is now set to serve communities across PNG and beyond. For the mine villages of the Star Mountains, this is more than an airline. It is their future, owned and flown by their own hands. Carol Kirup Jr., TVWAN News.
Kedi Ilimbit, Managing Director and CEO of Oktedi Mining, credited the collective determination of the 12 mine villages and their trustees for making the airline a reality. The introduction of Milum Aviation is expected to alleviate chronic flight shortages for Tabubil residents and create new economic opportunities for local landowners. The airline will operate alongside Oktedi's charters, offering new travel options and strengthening the region's transportation infrastructure.
So, owning an aircraft, this big, it's a good story for us. So those who have made it happen to own this aircraft, I want to thank you. That it's the 12 mine villages who said yes to the local trustees. I sit out there on the board of directors of Milum, but I had to convince them that Milum is the right model for us to take the royalty trust to the next phase.
The Royalty Trust has come full circle in its aviation journey. What began with a single twin otter in 2004 has now grown into the launch of Milum Aviation. Beyond just aircraft, the focus is on building skills, creating opportunities, and leaving behind a legacy for the Mayan villagers. Our reporter has more.
Milum Aviation's launch is not just about new aircraft. It is a story of continuity, growth, and future opportunities for the landowners of the 12 Mayan villages. Nearly 2 decades ago, the Royalty Trust's first foray into aviation came through the purchase of a twin otter. That plane was eventually sold, but the ambition never faded.
The Royalty Trust commenced in 2006. We've now got 3 aircraft. But the history of the Royalty Trust is that in 2004, we purchased a twin otter, which was our first aircraft. So we have been in the aviation business.
Since then, the trust diversified into hotels, commercial buildings, and shares, amassing over 200 million kina in assets. Now with the 3 -8 aircrafts, the aviation dream has returned stronger than ever.
This is a business decision. At the end of the day, we need to get profits for our beneficiaries.
For partner Pacific Direct, the airline represents more than business returns. It is the realization of a long-held dream and a foundation for new generations.
Today represents a dream that has taken more than 30 years to become reality.
The milestone also comes with new commitments. Starting in 2026, cadet pilot and cabin crew training programs will open doors for landowner youth, ensuring local communities not only own the airline but also fly and manage it in the years ahead.
This is an earned opportunity. It's not a gift. A foundation block for greater things, creating opportunities for building skills and transferring knowledge. It is an opportunity to work with local landowners, teaching them aviation, building capacity, and preparing the next generation to one day manage the vital transport infrastructure that keeps the communities connected.
As Milum Aviation prepares to expand routes across PNG and beyond, its journey from a small twin otter to a fleet of -8s is a testament to persistence, partnership, and vision for the future. The story of Milum Aviation reflects more than ownership. It is about building capacity, securing profits, and preparing the next generation to keep the dream in flight long after the mine's closure. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
We apologize we were unable to bring you the finance report as it was not provided to us. TV1 News continues after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Turning overseas, a democratically elected body of Victorian Aboriginal traditional owners, the First Peoples Assembly, will be given powers to establish its own education facility. It's one of the first practical outcomes to be detailed following 9 months of negotiations over what will become Australia's first formal treaty.
NBC can reveal under Australia's first formal treaty agreement, the Victorian elected Aboriginal body will be given powers to establish their own educational institute. The institute will be called the First Nations Institute. Gunditjmara elder Uncle Alan Brown has said that the proposed First Nations Institute will provide new opportunities for Aboriginal communities across Victoria. Here's a little of what he's had to say.
I think there are opportunities for Aboriginal people in other areas of the educational system, but this is important because it becomes our own and it shouldn't be feared. It should be one which is embraced.
So think of the Institute not as a university, not as a school, but as a specialised training provider. It will be built in the decades to come, carefully curated to close the gap. Now, we do know that it is being designed to boost the workforce for Victorian Aboriginal communities. Now, the bill to legislate Victoria's leading treaty agreement is now in the final stages of drafting and is expected to be in front of Parliament in the coming weeks.
A Queensland magistrate has refused to authorise a pro-Palestinian march across the Story Bridge in Brisbane on Sunday. Police opposed the rally due to public safety and the disruption to the community. But organisers are not backing down and say they'll still meet at the starting point and in the meantime will consider their legal options to appeal the decision.
In court, disappointed but not defeated.
We may not have had the judgment in our favour today, but we will continue to fight for freedom and justice.
Their plans for 7,000 protesters to march across Brisbane's Story Bridge on Sunday was blocked by a court after police successfully argued it would be dangerous.
I had and still do have serious concerns around maintaining community safety.
Lawyers for the organisers said authorities have the resources to mitigate risk, but police disagreed, pointing to 2 footpaths undergoing urgent repairs due to structural concerns, and comparing it to a march where almost 100,000 protesters shut down the Sydney Harbour Bridge, risking a crowd crush. The judge understood why they chose Brisbane's iconic bridge and accepted the planned protest march is for a serious issue and has significant community support, and the organisers are serious and responsible people. However, she found this did not outweigh the serious safety concerns. The court decision doesn't mean the planned meeting of protesters is unlawful if peaceful, but it does mean they may not be legally protected if they do decide to cross the bridge.
If that involves arrest to prevent those offences from occurring, then that is an option that is certainly open to us.
Would you be prepared to be arrested personally?
I'm prepared to do everything in my power to pressure my government to act in accordance with international law.
Organisers are considering an appeal. Talissa Saganto, ABC News, Brisbane.
A powerful new composition that traces ancient song lines and blends with classical music will premiere in Darwin this weekend. The work is the latest collaboration between the Darwin Symphony Orchestra and Yolngu songmen, musicians and dancers.
An orchestral odyssey, tens of thousands of years in the making.
This is the beginning. The Manike, the Belma and the Iraki is beginning.
This important story from northeast Arnhem Land traces the journey of an ancestral being, Woyal, the sugarbag man.
Mainmak, beat this one. First time for me with orchestra.
And it's good for him and good for me as a role model for next generation.
Guided by songman Bunala Marika, composer Netnella Mizrahi followed Woyal's journey across the beaches and mangroves of northeast Arnhem Land in his search for honey. She transferred the sights, rhythms and tones of that journey into a classical score, with traditional instruments at its heart.
We've got the song lines and we've got the wonderful beast of an orchestra, and now we can also create a third thing, which is where do they meet?
She says the song lines aren't hers to fully understand, but this was an invitation to create something new.
I think in that sense it is a language we all share, the arts, and to me that's a profound reconciliation tool.
A new composition setting the stage for great change.
Queenslanders have been warned of potential blackouts this summer, with a new report highlighting an energy shortfall for the Sunshine State. It's raised questions over the government's yet-to-be-released energy roadmap and the transition away from increasingly unreliable coal-fired power stations.
There's an increased likelihood of blackouts this summer.
Circumstances could arise in the summer period where we could have shortfalls unless we plan carefully to avoid that. This is not a statement of catastrophe.
An AEMO report has revealed operators may have to source power from other states or pay large consumers to cut their electricity use at peak times.
So I am very optimistic they know what they're doing.
I think we'd feel it
We depend on our air conditioning, yes.
I've got quite enough solar and putting on batteries. I'm very much of the mindset that I'll look after myself.
Queensland's ageing coal fleet is partly to blame.
Over the last summer period, our coal-fired power stations broke down a total of 78 times. We simply can't afford to rely on these old coal clunkers moving forward.
The report forecasts electricity consumption will increase by 21% over the next decade, stressing the importance of new infrastructure. The state government is due to release its energy roadmap later this year and its strategy to reduce emissions.
The current government remains committed to net zero emissions by 2050, which means a long way before then, all the coal-fired power stations will have to be shut down. And that's what this plan is going to be important.
Their only plan so far has been to cut renewable projects and to continue to rely on coal-fired power stations.
If we're building enough renewable energy and storage, we absolutely can have a smooth transition. The problem is we need policy certainty.
Energy Minister David Janetsky wasn't available on camera. He and other ministers spent the day here, getting paid for stakeholder meetings. In a statement, he didn't answer if he was concerned about potential blackouts or provide a date for when the roadmap would be released.
At least 29 childcare centres across the country are at risk of having the government funding pulled for failing to meet national quality and safety standards. Centres in Perth make up more than a third of the list, but the Western Australian government says it's not concerned because most centres are expected to be named in coming weeks.
Childcares are on notice. 29 have been named across the country for failing to meet national standards. Western Australia has the most centres on the list of any jurisdiction, but 5 of the 11 in Perth have been taken over by new service providers since the National Quality Standards check was completed. It doesn't come as a shock for some. One former early childcare teacher told the ABC after working in centres across Australia, it was only after a stint in WA that she decided to quit the profession.
There was no consistent routine within the day. Everything seemed to be ad hoc. Nobody knew what they were doing. One day I actually came home in tears, shaking and crying. That's my experience as an adult. I can't imagine what it's like for young children.
I welcome the federal government's tough stance on providers to lift their game. The safety of children is paramount.
The Early Childhood Minister says with more centres to be named in coming weeks, she's not concerned about WA making up more than a third of the list.
I don't think that 11 in Western Australia is an indication that we have any more challenges than any other system.
So I'm pleased that the publication of this list has identified the centres that need work to bring them up to the necessary level, and I'll trust that the authorities will ensure that that work is done as soon as possible.
The Australian Childcare Alliance's WA branch has urged the public not to panic, as some of the providers were assessed as far back as 2020.
Thanks for watching TV1 News. Later in sports after the break, top 6 blockbuster preview and Prime Minister's tee-off in one-soul golf challenge. Welcome back. In sports, the Rugby League fraternity is bracing for a final of high-class Rugby League extravaganza when the top 6 teams converge in the nation's capital to continue the battle for the ultimate prize, the coveted 2025 Digicel ExxonMobil Cup title. While minor premiers PRK Mandy Muruks and second-placed Lay Snakes Tigers have a well-deserved rest, week 1 of the elimination process kicks off this Sunday.
Charging straight back to the middle.
Game 1 kicks off 1 p.m. Third place Pintagor Gorokalhanis face off with 6th place Eastern Britain Agma Gorriers. In Game 2, 4 p.m. Monty Plus NCDC Port Moresby Vipers up against Croton Hella Wigman, who will engage in a fiery encounter. The competition's format kicks off this Sunday with 2 crucial elimination matches leading to the grand final qualifier in Week 2. The PRK Mandimuruk's crowned minor premiers, along with Lace Next Tigers, who finished second, will enjoy a well-deserved bye into the next round. Lahan is peaking at the right time of the season and will enter the match as favourites against the unpredictable Gurias, who suffered a disappointing defeat to the Wigmen last week on home turf. This matchup is a must-win for both sides, with the Lahanis looking to leverage their consistent season against a revamped Guria side who are looking to avenge last week's loss with a more polished performance as both teams push for survival in the finals. In the main event, the spotlight will shine on the youthful Vipers side as they take on the experienced Hello Wigmen. The Vipers have demonstrated their capability this season, challenging top teams. Meanwhile, Wigmen on the other side bring the wealth of experience from their 2024 Grand Final run, but must remain vigilant against the enthusiastic and determined Vipers outfit. This match promises to be a high-intensity showdown, setting the stage for a thrilling finish. Catch all the semi-final matches, including the Cup Grand Final, live and exclusive on digital TVWAN Sports 2. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
This weekend promises to deliver exciting action in the Moneyplus Port Moresby AFL competition. Several highly anticipated matches in both the men's and women's competitions are expected. According to the revised game schedules, the match between Alavana Swans and Uni Tigers will be played this Saturday at the Raukele Oval in Hula Village, Central Province.
Alavana Swans' match this weekend is particularly special as it marks the team's return home after 2 years hiatus. POM AFL President Douglas Lai said fans are eager to witness the Swans in action, making for an electrifying atmosphere. Lai said all scheduled matches for this weekend will continue at the spiritual home of AFL, Coles Oval, headlined by a big blockbuster between Lamana Dockers and Gerrika Bombers set for 2 p.m. Fans are anticipating a competitive fixture as both teams look to assert their dominance on the field. In the A-Reserve fixture, Taikoni Hawks versus Uni Tigers at the Raukele Oval in Hula Village. Sunday fixtures in Game 1, Sky Roos versus Gerahu Magpies. The Sky Roos will aim to continue their strong form against the Magpies. This match is expected to be a highlight of the weekend's actions. The other highly anticipated clash is between the two competition juggernauts, Gordon's Kokofas and West Eagles. Kokofas will be tested against the formidable West Eagles, making this an exciting opener for Sunday's doubleheader. This weekend marks the final points matches for the women's competition before heading into the playoffs next week. Gerahu Magpies versus Gerrika Bombers. Gerahu Magpies are anticipated to come out on top against the Bombers, showcasing their strong form. Next, Koboni Ladies up against Dockers. Koboni girls are expected to secure a convincing victory against the Dockers. And then the Sky Roos, sitting at the top of the standings, should eventually prevail over Gordon's Kokofas, maintaining their strong performance heading into the playoffs. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Hundreds of teachers across Papua New Guinea are undertaking formal training as rugby league coaches for the first time through the Australian-funded PNG NRL Academy program. As a key step on the journey to PNG's NRL franchise, the PNG NRL Academy has partnered with the PNG Rugby Football League to deliver a groundbreaking 2-day coaching course for teachers in 6 regions. The course featured classroom and hands-on practical sessions and is based on Level 1 coaching curriculum used in elite rugby league systems in Australia. It is led by PNG NRL Academy Coaching and Pathways Manager Joe Grimmer, supported by 3 experienced pathway coaches from Australia and PNG RFL Coaching Manager Stanley Genne. This week, more than 60 teachers and school team coaches from 24 schools took part in the Goroka course and 60 attended in Mount Hagen. The inaugural One Soul Prime Minister's Charity Golf Challenge tee off this morning at the Royal Port Moresby Golf, where the visiting Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele engaged in a friendly match with his PNG counterpart James Marape. The One Soul Prime Minister's Charity Golf Challenge is an initiative of Prime Minister Marape and will take place biannually, alternating between Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. The one-day One Soul Prime Minister's Golf Challenge registered over 20 teams, including Prime Minister James Marape and Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele's teams. The Solomon Islands Prime Minister's team includes Honorable Member Ricky Howenipuela, former Governor General Sir Frank Kabui, and former Secretary to Prime Minister Salana Kalu. The Charity Golf Challenge is a four-person Ambrose format. The tournament is expected to conclude in the afternoon before Solomon Islands delegates depart PNG. The biannual Golf Challenge aims at strengthening diplomatic relations between two Melanesian countries. The tie-day forged in 1978 to share geopolitics and cultural ties. The Solomon Islands Prime Minister Manele and delegates continue their visit today after visiting PNG Governor General Sir Bob Dadai yesterday. This is part of a series of events leading up to PNG's 50th Independence Anniversary celebrations in September. The next Prime Minister's Golf Challenge will be held in the Solomon Islands. And that wraps up our sports segment. Now to the weather. In regional forecast, southern Port Moresby, partly cloudy with possible few showers. Daru, cloudy periods with occasional rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Mamase, lay cloudy periods with rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Madang, partly cloudy. Nigini Islands, Lorengau and Kavieng, cloudy periods with rain showers at times and possible thunderstorms. Kimbe, some rain showers. Highlands, Goroka, Bans, Kundiawa, Mendi, Tarian, Wabe, cloudy periods with rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Ocean forecast for PNG areas for the next 24 hours. Coral Sea, seas very rough to east to southeasterly winds of 34 to 37 knots. Solomon Sea, seas moderate with east to southeasterly winds of 15 to 25 knots, reaching 33 knots towards the afternoon. Bismarck Sea, seas moderate to rough with southeast to easterly winds of 25 to 33 knots. And Pacific Ocean, seas moderate with east to southeasterly winds of 10 to 20 knots. And coastal waters forecast, waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Island, Karemayul Island, Port Moresby would point to Samurai Island, and waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finschhafen, seas 2 to 3 meters, rising to 4 meters over gale warning areas. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitiaz, Dampier Strait to Siasi Island to Long Island, seas 3 to 4 meters. And before we go, TV1 News will go to air at 4 p.m. this Saturday, 23rd August, before the live broadcast of the Jubilee Reset Gospel Concert at 4:30 p.m. On behalf of the TV1 News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.